Namaste. We are here with our 8th video in the series Patanjali Yogasutras Simplified for Common People. In the last video, we have seen and understood 3 paths prescribed by Maharshi Patanjali. The first path, which was for Uttama Sadhaka or an evolved practitioner, was Abhyas and Vairagya, a conceptual path. The second path, which was for not the beginners but familiar sadhakas, the madhyama sadhakas, was the Kriya Yoga. And the third path, which was for beginners, was Ashtanga Yoga, which has got a quite detailed set of instructions in it. So today we are going to try and understand the first path, the conceptual path, which has been described for the Uttama Sadhaka. And the reason for taking this up first is this will lay a good foundation of conceptual clarity for appreciating and understanding the other 2 paths and their relation with this. So Patanjali's sutra for this path is Abhyas Vairagya Bhyam Tannirodha, which means Tannirodha means the nirodha, the arresting of the chittavrittis is achieved by Abhyas, practice, and Vairagya, that is detachment. Now let's see the why, what, and how of Abhyasa and Vairagya. By Abhyasa, Patanjali means practice of concentration of mind, focusing of the mind. This is what is indicated by him. What is that is called ekagrata. Now, before we get into what is ekagrata or the concentration, in simple plain terms, concentration is focusing mind on something so that the myriad of chittavrittis, about multitude of objects, are arrested, and that helps you for the ultimate chittavritti nirodha. But to understand this better, let's see what one of the knowledgeable person, the expounder, Nagesha Bhatta, who has written a treatise on Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It's called Yoga-Sutra Vritti. Let's see what he says. He says, in general, normally there are 5 states of mind. And what are they? And you will see a progression in those states. What are those states? He says the first state is Moodha Avastha. Moodha Avastha is marked by ignorance, a lack of comprehension, inaction, delusion. These are the characteristics. It is full of Tamoguna. There is a preponderance of Tamoguna over Rajoguna and Sattva-guna. We have seen that the whole universe is created of 3 gunas: Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So out of which Moodha Avastha is having preponderance of Tamoguna. The second state is Kshipta Avastha. Kshipta. Kshipta literally means cast. And as the word says, the mind is cast on different objects according to the necessity and the pull. So it is obvious that the mind is flitting from one object to another. And this is the avastha, this is the state through which we operate our worldly affairs. And it is having a preponderance of Rajoguna. Rajoguna stands for action and desire. The third state is called Kshipta, that is cast in a particular way. In this, the mind is focused on a particular object or an idea, but it is only for some time. It is not able to dwell upon it for a long time because it has to be pulled back and cast onto another object. So this state is where you get a taste of concentration for a brief while, but still it is not a very useful state for Yoga for yoga. This state is also having a preponderance of Rajoguna. The next state is called Ekagravastha. Ekagra literally means one-pointed. So mind is made to focus on one object, one idea. And when you do that, you dwell upon it, it is called Ekagrata. Ekagrata is again defined by Nagesh Bhatta in a very beautiful way. What he says is Ekagratvam Dhyayati Vyatirikta Vritti Nirodha. One-pointedness is that state where chittavrittis or thought waves other than those for the object of concentration are restrained. So all other chittavrittis are restrained and only chittavrittis related to the object are allowed to come in the mind. That is ekagrata. And this is of course a very useful state for yoga. And when we say we have to practice Abhyas, it is this ekagrata state. This is what we have to achieve. This state, in this state, if you become quite well versed, you can achieve a state of samadhi called samprajnata samadhi. The next state is niruddha avastha. Niruddha is where there is a chittavritti nirodha. All the chittavrittis are completely stopped. And this is the state of an accomplished yogi's mind. And in this state, a still higher level of samadhi called asamprajnat samadhi can be accomplished. You can see these 5 states right from Moodha, where there is a complete lack of understanding and action, all the way mind becoming active on multitude objects, then getting focused on a single object from many to one, and then finally resulting in complete cessation of all chittavrittis. However, it is not the same as Moodha Avastha, because here you are very acutely aware. You are in a Jagrut Avastha and your mind is quite sharp. Very keenly it can absorb any knowledge, because you have to absorb the knowledge of Atma, the Purusha, for the Purusha Sakshatkara. So that's the purpose of Niruddha Avastha. So your mind is ready to see him. So this is the progression that we see. Now let's see how Maharishi Patanjali is defining Abhyas. He defines it as Tatra Sthitau Yatno Abhyasa. Tatra means there, in that state. When you do an effort, yatna, for the sake of remaining in that state, and that state is the Niruddha, Chittavritti Niruddha Avastha, where you have restrained chittavrittis, where you have managed to restrain them for some while maybe. That effort is called Abhyasa. And what is it, that effort? That effort has got multifarious tasks to be done when it is doing this Abhyasa or practice of concentration. You can classify them into 3 types of actions, as the sadhaka is sitting for multitude objects to one. Now let's see how this effort at concentration has to be done. It has to be done in 3 ways. The first way is to curb the fickleness of the mind. Mind is mercurial in nature and it has a habit of going from object to object. So the first effort is to bring the mind back, hold it, and bring it back to our object of concentration. And this can be done in 2 ways. One is bring it forcefully back. The second is just witness the other thoughts and allow them to pass. A chittavritti will come and go away. The second way is, you have to understand this the minute way. When a chittavritti about an object comes, there is one chittavritti, it arises and subsides. And then another chittavritti comes for the same object now, because you have managed to focus your mind on the object. The second chittavritti also has to be the same. First it was about the object, now it is the chittavritti itself has to be the same. That's the effort. That's the second finer point of this effort. And the third one again, further going into minute details, normally what happens is there are no two chittavrittis, no two thoughts at a time in a mind. One thought comes, goes away. The second thought then comes, goes away. Between the going away of one thought and arising of the another thought, there is an imperceptible pause which we will normally not see. Even in the neuroscience, when a neuron fires because of some signal, the neuron fires and then it comes back to the resting state of minus 70 or minus 80 millivolts or something, and then again it is ready to fire again. So while in the resting state, which is a fraction of a second, less than 1/10 of a second or something, it is incapable of receiving another signal. So that's when there is a pause. No chittavritti in that neuron can arise. So the task is to extend that pause. What is imperceptible has, through abhyasa, through the effort, has to extend. So these are the three types of results to be achieved through effort. So now next Patanjali describes the qualities of the abhyasa. The qualities, the abhyasa should be satu, dirghakala, nairantarya, satkara sevitaha dridabhumi. Such an effort, when it is done for dirghakal, for a long time, nairantarya, when it is without interruption, with continuity, and last is satkara sevita, when it is done with dedication, full devotion. It acquires a firm foundation on which your further progress can be built. So this is all about the abhyasa. We have seen why abhyasa is required, because we want to achieve the final chittavritti nirodha, so practice is required in a graded way. We have seen what of the abhyasa, what is abhyasa, tatra sthitau yatna abhyasa, and then we have seen the characteristics of the abhyasa, how, and then finally how it should be, by what qualifications. And remember, we have already seen the principles of concentration. Those have to be repeatedly applied. The principles were bring mind from many to one, bring mind from big to small, and bring mind from concrete or gross to abstract and subtle. So with all these characteristics and all this understanding, one can set about for doing the effort in abhyasa. But remember, it's quite difficult. It's easier said than done. The mind keeps on going and it is very difficult to control. But we are not the only ones to have this difficulty. Arjuna, the great Pandava warrior in the Mahabharata, poses a question to his guru Krishna, Bhagwan Krishna, that Krishna, this mind is so fickle like air. It is very difficult to grasp this air-like mind and keep it stable. What to do? And Krishna answers, Asamshayam Mahabahu Mano Durnigrahaschalam. Hey, oh valiant Arjuna, this mind is doubtlessly very difficult to grasp. It is very fickle. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha guryatam. But Arjuna, it has to be grasped by abhyasa and vairagya. Out of that abhyasa part we have seen today. In the next video, we are going to see the vairagya part in detail. And once these concepts are clear, we are ready for our understanding of the next path. So keep studying this till we meet next time. Thank you.